You know, one of the best things about being a father is very simple. It's like today, my son Benjamin is really into baseball. I've told a lot of you this before. But in his quest of being absolutely in love with the game of baseball, something has occurred. My man can't get enough of it. In the last couple of days, my man has 1,000% found some baseball movies. Disney Plus has helped him out of that. And what I think is very interesting about that is that he's watching the same movies that I did as a kid. Like the one that he watches over and over and over again is School Starts in a Couple of Days, is Rookie of the Year with Henry Roland Gardner. Hosenbagger. Have-tos. Now, if you've seen that movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say Rosenbagger, warm up, you're going in. Or pitchers got a big butt. Those kinds of things. I got to be a little honest. It's why we're a little bit late to the show here, mainly due to the fact that I was kind of chuckling watching him laugh so hysterically at Rookie of the Year. So that I completely apologize. But Gardenhoser, Windermere, don't tell me about no asthma either. But you got to absolutely love it. You absolutely got to love it. So I just had to throw that out there. Not why you're here. I know exactly why you're here. It's pretty obvious as to why you're here. Practice report day 6. We will get into that. We'll give you observations and opinions. And obviously, is there a reason for concern? A lot of you have reached out, talked about, and mentioned how worried that you are in reference to this LSU offensive line. So we will address it tonight. The schools of thought that I have, we'll get into that in observations and opinions, the reasons for concern, and the observations and opinions inside of there as well. But the practice report, we will go through it in its entirety, as we will not be out at practice tomorrow. Brian Kelly is giving us the day off. I could go out there every day, but nevertheless, he's giving us the day off. We will be off Thursday, meaning no practice for the LSU Tigers on Thursday. We will be off on Thursday as well. So a little bit of scheduling that we're telling you here right now. We will not be live on Thursday. We will be live tomorrow. We'll do some guesting. We'll try to get Carter Bryant on to the show. Couldn't really do it on Monday and today. Just have so much that we got to get into. But we will be live on Friday. We will be live on Saturday as well. Well, every day that LSU is out there in practice, that we are out there, we will get a live show up for you because, well, guys, to be quite blunt and quite honest with you, guys, next week we're going to actually preview a little bit of Clemson as we're only a couple of weeks away here. Now, I know, well, Blake, it's 25 days. Yeah, well, I mean, guys, by this time next week, it'll be August the 12th. We'll get really rolling here. So, I mean, it's right around the corner. Right around the corner when you look at it from that lens and that perspective. I did get a super chat at the end of the show I did not read. Bruh337, if you want to send that back in, don't send in a super chat. Send the question you had back in, and we will read that out. I apologize for missing it. Sometimes at the end of the shows, my daughter was banging on the door of the studio here, and I kind of lost track of it. I apologize to him, but if you have him in there, tonight we will not have that issue. Andrew says, from the 318 Oakdale, Louisiana is in the building, dropping a lot of money on these Tigers this season. I am buying in and believing the hype. Good for you. What you need to do, Andrew, is go over to our good friends over at FanDuel. LSU is plus 700 to win the SEC. Maybe after one of these practice reports yet again, you want to go onto FanDuel and place that bet. The number one sports book in the entire country is our good friends over at FanDuel. You must be 21 years or older to bet or gamble, unless you're in D.C., Kentucky, or West Virginia, and you must be present in every state that in that state when you place that bet. Also, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-GAMBLER. Or go over to FanDuel.com/RG. That's FanDuel.com/RG. Or you can go over to FanDuel as well if you want to and place a plus 900 bet on Garrett Nussmeier to win the Heisman. The Heisman odds on FanDuel are Arch Manning plus 700, Cade Klubnik plus 900. Him and Nuss are both at plus 900. And Jeremiah Smith, the wide receiver out of Ohio State, at plus 1,100. I will not be betting on Jeremiah Smith to win it. I don't think a receiver wins it in back-to-back years. I do think it's going to be one of these quarterbacks that does that. Noah Mason, always on Twitter. Noah, do us a favor. Hit that retweet if you don't mind as well. He says, as always, listening live in Plano, Texas. You got to love it. You got to love it. But yes, our good friends over at FanDuel, FanDuel.com or FanDuel Sportsbook, very gracious to us. And we'll be doing a lot as the season is rolling along with these odds. What do you think LSU will be able to do with them? So shout out to our good friends over at FanDuel. Mitch says our defense is either really good or O-line is really, really bad. Well, if you stay a part of this show tonight, we're going to have a lot of discussion around it. Caleb says, Blake, Kelly really took a liking to the word intensity, huh? LOL, great question. Well, so Caleb, in case everybody missed it, just to recap what happened yesterday, I thought that yesterday's practice on both lines of scrimmage was about as intense of a practice that I can remember. Now, there's a couple of things, like I was talking to Matthew Brune from On 3, there's a couple of things that I want to point out. Fighting to me does not mean intensity. Intensity means that you're going balls to the wall. And I got to be real with you, at the current moment, I don't know if LSU's ever had a defensive line under Brian Kelly that's been this good, at least so far. And we'll see how the season goes. Maybe the O-line's just bad and this D-line's just better than them, so it's getting really bad. I don't know. But, guys, they were absolutely teeing off yesterday. They were teeing off today in full pads, which we'll get to. So I don't care what anybody tells me. If they don't think yesterday was the most high-intense practice that Brian Kelly's had in 4 years, I got to be honest with you, I think they're blatantly wrong. I think that, 27,000 of you from whether audio, YouTube, Facebook came in and watched the show last night. It's why you come into these shows to listen to it. Guys, I think our track record speaks for itself. I am telling you, I will legitimately go to war over that opinion. So, to each its own. I mean, Brian Kelly said it himself too. So, what do I know? J Smack says, like he is like that. I don't know what that means. Maybe I said like a lot. I don't know. Curtis says, watching from Kansas City, by the way, of the parish. The 504 St. Bernard Parish is in the building. Andrew says, hot ice. You heat up the ice cubes. Yeah, Brigma is very, very, very funny. Very, very, very funny. Matthew Conkle with a $5 super chat says, Blake, are the O-line struggles due to recruiting, development, coaching, talent, effort, or a combination of a few? All right. Well, here we go. We're going to talk about, Matthew, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to highly suggest you to hold on for a deep analysis when we do observations and opinions after the practice report to dive deeper into that, which I'm sure you'll be here. This is what I'd say. It's not recruiting. Well, everything's recruiting, okay? You've recruited the offensive line at a high level from a recruiting ranking standpoint. At the current moment, it doesn't seem like development has taken the next step. So, I think that the defense, for what it's worth, is out physicaling this offensive line at an alarming rate. And I don't think they've been as physical as them. And guys, either you're just going to continue to get your shit beat in, and iron is going to sharpen iron here. And like, hey man, you know what? We went up against this all week in camp, all month in camp. Like there's not going to be more defensive lines better than us. Maybe that is the case, guys. Like thinking of the positive, the case easily could be that LSU's just that freaking good along their front seven. The bad news would be is that, no, they're not as great as we think that they are, and this offensive line is below average, and we're not ready. How do you dictate that, Matthew? That would be my thing. I think it's a combination of a few to answer your question. I think it's a combination of a few things. And listen, if this continues, I'm assuming based off of how I feel that a lot of you will react after doing this for 5 years at a full-time rate. I would just say, or every day, knowing how y'all are going to react to this, Brad Davis's name is going to come up a lot here about, well, what is he doing? So we'll get into that a little bit deeper tonight. It's a big talking point. Chase says the 318-31 great Pineville is in this hoe. Gotta love Pineville. And you gotta love people who say in this hoe. Garrett is in, or Garrett is from the 337, but Norman, Oklahoma, being at work. Yeah, we played them at the end of the season. So we'll see. H-Town Creole says Brian Kelly is known for developing offensive line. Y'all realize that 4 offensive linemen got drafted, right? Zeesh, clown emojis. H-Town, you do realize that you were 108th in the country last year in rushing. So you had 4 offensive linemen that got drafted, and you were almost dead last in the SEC in running the football. So you can talk about if that is directed towards me, then you explain not being able to run the football last year. And this is what I would suggest. You can come by the studio, we'll put the projector up, and we'll walk through an all 22, and you can tell me. I don't know if that's directed at me or not. What I would say is you can't say, oh, they're really good at developing, and then you're 108th in the country in rushing last year. You can't. I mean, guys, a simple dive, like a simple inside zone, 32-34 zone, you're going to the right, or whatever you want to call it. You're talking about a simple zone that's just basically, guys, do you have the better men or do you not? Guys, the run game is very simple when you do basic shit. Do you have the better dudes up front or do they do? It's not that difficult, and you can't be 108th in the country last year in rushing. You can't have a 9,000-yard back. Hell, you haven't had an 800-yard back. So you can't have those things that continue to go on and say that, oh, well, Brian Kelly's going to fix this, and he very well may. But there's got to be levels of concern after what happened last year and what's happened in the beginning of the camp right now, which is why a lot of people are bringing it up. All right. Let's get moving here. Everybody do us a favor by hitting the like and share. Share to all those groups. If you're on Facebook and to all of those social media pages, you're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell, wherever you listen to podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe. As always, our title sponsors here tonight is our good friends over at FanDuel. Go place those bets. We told you about the disclaimer there as well. You have a problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or go over to their website and go to that section where you could read through those things, and they always have 24/7 assistance for you. Let me get to a quick break. When we come back, we're breaking down practice day 6 next. Stay with us.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man, he's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler, he'll shoot you straight.
Hey guys, I want to tell you about our good friends over at Red Stick Financial. They're your local residential mortgage broker located right here in the heart of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. At Red Stick Financial, they find the bank that works for your particular set of needs to purchase the home of your dreams or refinance the current one. They truly are your partners in this process, and they pride themselves in helping individuals and families with one simple goal in mind, and that is to make home financing approachable, attainable, and stress-free. They are licensed in all Louisiana, Texas, and Mississippi. So from Amarillo to Meridian and everything in between, they have you covered. Red Stick Financial brings you creative, customized solutions, and they don't believe in the one-size-fits-all when it comes to loans. They even have special options for mobile and manufactured homes located in a flood zone, and stated income financing for those of us who are self-employed borrowers. If you or someone you know is looking to buy a home, refinance an existing mortgage, or simply want to know what options are out there for your future, give Red Stick Financial a call today at 225-407-9250. That's 225-407-9250. Or check them out online at redstickfinancial.com. That's redstickfinancial.com. Before you purchase the home of your dreams or you go and do that refinance, you need to go local. Go Red Stick. We're back. All right. Smooth Guy with a $2 super chat. Thank you so much. If you have a comment, we'll try to get to it. But thank you so much for the super chat. Jermaine Green says, why are you concerned after 6 days? Give them time to gel. Well, you spelled gel wrong. Wow. Number one, because you've given up 9 stacks in 2 days. That's why. There, on some of these run, and I'm going to explain this later. I mean, you guys are already in here doing it. We're just going to talk about it in observations and opinions. If you want an answer right now, there is nothing that comes to in reference to gelling when you literally have running backs in the backfield that are taking handoffs, and Bernard Gooden is hitting them yet again today in the backfield. That's not gelling. That is you getting your ass whooped up front. I don't want to come in here, guys. This is a position I played. If you're a guard and you have a one technique, a guy in between you and the center, and you're running right, and the defensive tackle, bursts through the hole, and you can't pick him up on a zone right, that has absolutely nothing to do with gelling. So if you're going to continue to call me out on this, you better know what you're talking about. It's a position I played my entire life. There is nothing when you have Bernard Gooden at a one tech and you're running the ball right and the left guard can't get over to block him, and he's literally hitting Caleb Jackson in the backfield literally as he's receiving the ball from Garrett. Caden Durham got the ball, tried to stiff arm Bernard Gooden today in the backfield, the second tackle for loss that happened today, and literally got tackled 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage. That ain't got nothing to do with gelling. Nothing. That's getting flat out beat. So we'll talk about that in great detail in observations and opinions. But LSU did practice again today. It is day 6 for the Tigers. And as always, when we do these full-length practices through the individual drills, we will, meaning drill work, tackling, blocking, whatever, I just go around and tell you guys that I think that's standing out. We're not going to stay on here long, but just the categories for me to stand out in one of these practices during drill work is simple with this. If you're doing something exceptional or you look exceptional while doing it, you look better than your counterparts around it. If you just look fast, physical, more than the other guys around you, things that stand out in this drill work. Today's topics, everybody, every single day, I'm just going to say this, Harold Perkins is going to make this list every day. When he's going through drill work, he's the best dude out there. Just one of the most freakish athletes on your team still. But Harold Perkins, Don McKinley, I spent a lot of time with the defensive line today because, and we even posted a couple of clips of them on Twitter. I spent a lot of time around Kyle Williams today. In the conversation, okay, with Kyle Williams in this defensive line because of how dominant they've been. Don McKinley stood out to me today, not necessarily because of me, but I think it really stood out for me because Kyle Williams was going stupid in excitement on Don McKinley. Talking about his form and technique getting better, talking about getting his pad level lower, and continuously throughout drill work, separating himself from the pack if you will, because of how strong, freakishly strong he is and how good his technique was. Now, I want to stop here on drill work. Now, a couple other guys that got it today for me, Deshaun Spears, Whit Weeks, Weston Davis, and Nick Anderson. They just looked good to me today when they were going through drills. Nick Anderson was going through contact drills, looked good. Weston Davis really moving the sled pretty heavy. The kid's strong. Can he figure it out? It's a question. Whit Weeks, he just looked exceptional what he does. I want to go to Don McKinley and drill work because I think this is a big deal for me today. Kyle Williams is repping these things out with him. They're literally going through technique. Now, Kyle Williams has done this at a high level for more than a decade. At an extremely high level. If you're talking about scheme with him, I feel like he 1,000% knows what he's talking about when it comes to scheme. The biggest strength that Kyle Williams has at the size that he is, how long he stayed in the league, and how productive he was in the league, guys, he out-techniqued everybody. The first thing Kyle Williams said, and Blake Baker said when he was hired, was we agreed on everything technique-wise, and Blake Baker saying, what in the hell am I going to teach this guy? Don McKinley today in individual drills, I saw a coach that was so freaking excited about how good 96 technique was. That is more important than anything. Now, can you translate that out in practice? Is he translating that out in practice? Is he going to be able to translate that in the game? Again, Kyle Williams went stupid because of the level of excitement and physicality and right technique that Don McKinley was using. Can that translate? You're out there in a game for a long period of time. You're out in practice for a long period of time. Reason you really go through drill work, well, number one, to get your technique down and do everything at a fundamentally high level. But number two, the reason that you do it is because you want to gas these guys out in the beginning. Then the first 11 on 11 period that you go to, can you replicate that on the opposite side of this? I think that Don McKinley today did that. We're going to go to a run game period, and we're going to talk about LSU today focusing a lot on the run game. I felt like Don McKinley through drill work took exactly what Kyle Williams was telling him and teaching him coming here during spring and then coming into a full week, quote unquote, with a rest day to now. Guys, I don't know if you remember, tomorrow starts a day where we're a complete full week into this. You had one rest day. So they're going at it. Don McKinley for me was the standout of the day from a drill work perspective. You got freakish athletes. I thought Nick Anderson looked freakishly athletic in the contact drills, meaning catch the ball through contact. Cortez Hankton had them going, like running a straight line, running a hitch. And every time that they're running, they're getting blasted by arms. They're like big, foam padded arms. And guys are just running with them, hitting them. Can you be strong enough to come up and get the ball? Because, guys, shit happens. Nick Anderson was a freak in that. Deshaun Spears, guys, Spears can cover the field. Does he make a decision right in time will be key. But if he makes right decisions and the football IQ goes up, Deshaun Spears is kind of a little bit of a freakier athlete when it comes to speed and how much ground he can cover. So we'll see. They were doing a pursuit drill and for safeties, and then they were doing some coverage drills, meaning you're on the far right hash, post, you got to go help the corner and turning their hips and getting there quickly. Deshaun Spears by far was the best at that. Probably why he's kind of taking a starting job now. But Don McKinley, technique looking really good. Kyle Williams really excited about that. All right. During the other individual periods, meaning some walkthroughs and other things, I don't get to them. I mean, guys, we're out there for an hour and 45 minutes today. We're going to get to the important stuff. But LSU went run game. On the or the left side of the offensive line, you had Braylon Moore, DJ Chester, and you had Tyree Adams. Basically, what you're having here in the run game is they're separating the offensive lines. You got Braylon Moore with the right guard and Thompson and Weston Davis. On the left side, you got Moore, you have Chester, and you have Adams. And they're running plays. Inside zone, who can make a play? So the first couple of plays here, Harlan Berry gets a handoff outside, is unable. Whit Weeks is unable to get to him. He turns it up, takes one to the hizzy. Again, it's two defensive linemen and a linebacker. It's 3-on-3 in every one of these situations, but hits the outside left zone, and he takes it to the house. Next play, Don McKinley, TFL on DJ Chester. Don McKinley swim moves. DJ Chester gets in the backfield, and Caden Durham has nowhere to go. Zero. No place to go. I did not put this in the practice report, and on the bottom I told you in some of these offensive line stuff, we would talk about it on the show because it was going to be a big emphasis tonight. The next 5 reps for the first team versus this defensive line and offensive line just did not go the offense's way. I thought there were a couple of runs where Caleb Jackson on one outside run to the left side of the offensive line made an absolutely ridiculous cut, found some vision, and made Weeks over pursue, hit a gap, and he went to the house. Then you had another situation on the right side of the offensive line. You had Caden Durham also making a ridiculous read, going right up Thompson's ass against Bernard Gooden, and he took one to the house. That you did have 3 real explosive runs in the run game period with your first team. I have 7 other ones where you have a Don McKinley tackle for loss, a Bernard Gooden tackle for no gain. We have Harold Perkins on the edge. Yes, you read that right. Harold Perkins on the edge, coming off and getting past Weston Davis, tackling Caden Durham in the backfield. And then you have Whit Weeks on a blitz coming through and getting to Caden Durham for no gain. So in 10 reps with the ones, 10 to 12 reps with the ones, I saw some good things in the run game and some bad things in the run game. I think as much as they're rotating that defensive line in and out, guys, quite honestly, you don't really see the same set of guys, not only on every series, but guys on every snap. They are rotating everybody in there. Jacoby and Guillory made a stop today on Caleb Jackson, running right through the 4 hole, so right on the outside hip of the guard. And Jacoby and Guillory did not get moved, and he makes a play. Sadir Mitchell blew one up. He just pushed DJ Chester back in the backfield. Whit Weeks is able to get there. A lot of these, are really dominant by the defensive line and linebackers. The other parts of these, when LSU found a little crease, for what it's worth to the running backs, they found a hole and they hit it. And they were off to the races. So we got some explosive plays from there from the offense. Arguably, when it comes to the run game period, it's by far the best that I have seen this LSU unit do until the end of the practice. But again, man, it's as physical as it can be. I gotta say this. In these run game periods and in 11-on-11s, it started in the run game period. It would end in mostly of the team period too. Got to give a shout out to the interior of this defensive line. Guys, there have been some times and some moments where they've given up some gaps and Caden Durham's been able to break one or Harlan Berry's been able to break one for a little yardage. Today, Caden Durham did break one for a touchdown. Not really on the interior defensive line. It's an outside zone, and he breaks the tackle and he's off to the races. They've held strong. There's 2 schools of thought that we're going to get to tonight, and I'm going to already preface it with you. Is this defensive line who we think that it is? Is this interior defensive line better and more developed than what we saw a season ago? If they are, then fantastic. It's really going to be a big benefit to you. As Don McKinley really come into his own and really developed is Jacoby and Guillory giving you everything he's got because this might be it. Ahmad Bro, by the way, who's kind of been the odd man out in this situation, him too. But nobody has been able to stop 88 for most of this camp. I mean, guys, the best way that I'd say it is that they've made him look like a first team all SEC guy. Really. This interior offensive line versus the interior of the guard unit, guys, to just be blunt with you, it's been abysmal. Again, there have been some big runs. But when it's been the most consistent of this, it's more of a 7-4, 7-5, or defense winning 9 of these and it not being good. I did not focus in on the second team offensive line because there was another period going on, ones versus ones with wide receivers and DBs. But you can see the wide receivers, then they run a play against the DB, then you have the offensive line during a run game period. Every alternate. I'm assuming Brian Kelly does that because he wants to watch both of it. So it is what it is. I don't know what to make of it. Really. You make the own determination. My opinion is that, man, I don't know how much gelling you really need, really. You're going up against some really tough individuals. They know the run is coming. The advantage is on the defense. But, man, you got to get a little bit more push. You literally have a defensive tackle where a guard in the center, it's 2 versus 1. It's 2 versus 1. Not getting any push is inexcusable. It's inexcusable. So, guys, that has nothing to do with gelling. It has everything to do with you getting beat. So, again, you got Don McKinley for a tackle loss, Jacoby and Guillory for a tackle with no gain, Bernard Gooden with a tackle with no gain. You have Whitweeks on a blitz, getting to Caden Durham. A lot of action happening in the backfield, and quite honestly, you're going to hear a lot about that in team period. We give it to the defense. I just think they stood strong, and whether I still think it's a defensive period, it's helping them out more. Guys, there's only 3 plays that it can be. Inside zone behind the center, inside zone behind the guard, or an outside zone past the tackle on the tackle's outside hip. There's literally only 3 plays that can be run here, and you know what direction it's going. But everybody knows what's happening. So defense won the run game period. I will say this. I did think the offensive line got better as it went on. That's why some of those longer runs and reps kept going. But taking the offensive line a little bit too long to get moving here. A lot of domination by this defensive line. All right. Ones versus ones, receivers versus DBs. What stood out? They ran 31 plays with the first and second team. We're going to get to the first team here. Second team, we're going to push back. Did give you some things that stood out there, though, in that period. Trey'Dez Green out wide as a wide receiver on the far boundary to the right side. Runs a fade route on Jordan Gilbert, or pretty much a double move. He kind of stutter steps. Gilbert bites, and then he runs past Gilbert. First play for Garrett Nussmeier. Fade route to Trey'Dez Green for a touchdown. Bauer Sharp on an in route, blown up by Halsey. I know Scarborough asked today about Sharp not dropping a pass. He didn't drop this one. This one's legitimately not catchable. He's coming in, going to an in route. He's coming from the right side, and literally as soon as the ball's arriving, A.J. Halsey is there to light him up. Again, we're going to need to see 13 a little bit more. I need to see 13 a little bit more. I got yesterday him coming down on Xavion Thomas and blowing a play up and it falling incomplete. And I have a play today from A.J. Halsey of him blowing up a tight end from his safety position and drawing the ball loose. Guys, he's literally there as it goes down. So Bauer Sharp in route gets blown up. I don't know what you want to say there. An inside corner route, an inside slot corner route by Chris Hilton goes for a touchdown. He was on DJ Pickett. I mean, just absolutely, man, teed him up. Teed him up. We're going to talk about Chris Hilton a little bit here tonight, too. Very next play, Chris Hilton on a fade route in the slot against Javian Toviano goes for a touchdown. Back-to-back plays for Chris Hilton that goes for tutties. Garrett ate this period alive. He ate it alive. 3 out of the first 4 passes are going for touchdowns. DBs were getting cooked early. It would settle down in just a moment as Mansour Delane and Stamps get in there. But, guys, the receivers in DB room, it was as tit for tat as it came today. Meaning, at anything you could do, I can do better. Nuss would complete a pass. Pretty much the next one, we're going to start getting our licks back. I would say that some of these are against the twos. I don't think Jordan Gilbert right now is running with the ones. There were some situations today where he was. They're rotating those safeties in and out of there. But, I mean, guys, it's as tit for tat as it comes. They're battling their asses off. So back-to-back routes by Hilton. I don't think Javian Toviano is going to start or play much. That's what I'd say. He has, at the current moment, been beaten out. Chris Hilton running inside slot fade route on Javian Toviano is unfair. This is exactly what happened at practice. Wilson Alexander from the Advocate is standing to my left. Chris Hilton is in the slot. I literally look at Wilson and said, touchdown. Chris Hilton going to go run an inside fade route. He did. Ask Wilson. Promise to goodness. Inside fade route, bang, tutty. Nuss was absolutely abusing him. The first team corners then came in. Enough was enough. Mansour Delane and Ashton Stamps come in on the boundary. Delane has a PBU on Barryon Brown, an in route. Mansour Delane's been pretty good, man. He's been really good. The communication, like he had yesterday with Deshaun Spears on the post. Again today, Mansour Delane has locked. It's a lot. It's over. It's over. I also think at the current moment that Ashton Stamps would have to riddle a couple of really bad days, to be honest with you. I don't know if you're starting to solidify who's on the boundary, but it starts feeling that way a little bit. Both of them really good. But Barryon Brown on an in route, Mansour Delane with a PBU. Ashton Stamps on back-to-back plays gets a PBU on Xavion Thomas. An out route and a post route where, again, number one gets his head turned and knocks the ball away. So back-to-back PBUs by Ashton Stamps. Philip Wright, the young freshman wide receiver. I think Philip Wright is going to be good. He looks good. He looks the part. Either way, Philip Wright on an in route gets 15 yards on Deshaun Spears. He flips field, does an inside fade, comes down with it on DJ Pickett. Guys, you don't want to overreact to a freshman. Philip Wright had a good day. He had a really good day when he was in there with the twos, too. Just there's no time for him to get the football. I think Tyrone Francis and Philip Wright right now, 2 wide receivers out of New Orleans that you brought in. Let's monitor number 15. Let's monitor 83. Let's monitor. But Tyrone Francis and Philip Wright, guys, they looked apart. It's kind of like that old New Orleans pipeline of wide receivers, man. You might have stricken some gold. I'm going to tell you this too. There are a couple of these receivers that have made moves. Philip Wright is one of them. Tyrone Francis is one of them. Kyle Parker's the other. Kyle Parker is 1,000% bona fide the other. So I'm keeping my eyes on the two freshmen. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to overreact to how good he's looked. All right, 11 versus 11. The first 11 versus 11 period, ones versus ones. Now, let me set the stage a little bit here for the first time that we go through this, and we'll go through it in just a minute as well. But the first 11 on 11, guys, it's full pads, and we're tackling. This is live. This is full rendition, all bullets going. Punch v. punch. They held no punches today. Now, they got around Garrett. Yeah, some punches were held. Garrett did not get hit. But when it comes to receivers, when it comes to the run game, when it comes to really everything else, if you're a skill player and you got the football today, you legitimately were getting tackled to the ground. So let's get at it. First play from scrimmage is Caden Durham, a zone run to the right for 6. Really good block by DJ Chester. They got some push. So you got the end of a run game that they kind of started taking control a little bit. Gus first run and play from the line of scrimmage, a run for 6. I will take it. I will take it. LSU did have a bigger personnel package defensively up front. Don McKinley, Don McKinley, Jacoby and Guillory, Jack Pyburn, and Gabe Rutherford were along your defensive line for the start of this drill. But then they'd rotate Gooden in and out of there. So Guillory came off on second down. Bernard Gooden came in. But a really good run. Really good block by DJ Chester to get 6. Harold Perkins in on the stop along with Whit Weeks. Very next play, pressure by Gooden, Pressure by Gooden as he pushes DJ Chester back into the pocket. DJ Chester gets run into the back of Garrett Nussmeier. Here comes Bernard Gooden again. But a bull rush where he gets Chester into the pocket. Gooden's able to get Chester on Garrett's back, literally. However, Nuss then starts stepping up after getting hit a little bit, breaks an arm tackle from Bernard Gooden, and pushes up into the pocket, then rolls left. Wes Weeks runs down Garrett before he can throw the ball away, and he's sacked. Bernard Gooden, man. I mean, it continues. There are a couple of things I want to talk about this. Number one, I know Garrett knows that he's not getting hit. He knew last year and he knew during the spring he wasn't getting hit from any of these dudes. And he continues to climb the pocket with pressure all around him and still bail out of there and not worry about the traffic that's around him. I think Garrett continues, even under some pressure, he continues to show the footwork and maturity that I think that you see a second-year starter look like. I mean, he's been really good inside the pocket is what I'd say. Like, really good inside the pocket. Hasn't really worried about the pressure much. Again, do you do that in the game? Practice doesn't make perfect. Practice does make the improvement. I thought Garrett handled the pressure very calmly today, again. So he does get sacked by Wes Weeks. They did allow him to throw the ball away, but it was, he threw the ball away literally like 2 steps after Wes Weeks had kind of just tapped him and said, hey, you're down. Durham on a dive run left. He gets tripped up by Bernard Gooden. Harold Perkins was also there. If he doesn't get tripped, I do think that Perk does make the tackle, but Durham does get a run for 3. So I guess technically, if it was a sack, wasn't a sack, it'd be 3rd and 2 or about 3rd and 10 here. They gave him 3rd and 2. Barry inside zone for no gain. I put a gang of defenders. There's just nowhere to go. Absolutely nowhere to go. Just manhandled on 3rd and 2. So, yeah. Durham inside zone run, no gain by Don McKinley. Again, just unable to run the football. You got 1 run for 6. You got Durham tripped up after 3. back-to-back with Barry and Durham. You got inside zone runs where the whole defensive line's crashing in on one, and Don McKinley gets off a block from Thompson and is able to make a play. So just not really good overall. Garrett Nussmeier on an inside corner route to Chris Hilton is overthrown. Deshaun Spears is in coverage, is beat in coverage. Ball's overthrown and missed. Nuss had a really clean pocket. Just I think the timing was off. Again, seeing a lot of pressure, and him and Chris are unable to connect. I saw some and heard some media along the sideline saying that Chris should have caught the ball. No, he shouldn't have. No, he shouldn't have. Guys, he's running the corner route. He's got to run towards about the 5-yard line on the corner route. He's got to come back to the ball. And when he's getting there, he's got to slide and try to make the catch down here. It's underthrown. It's got to be put on in the end zone. It's an underthrown ball. So what? Like, who cares? I mean, you just have a period of 1-on-1s where Garrett dots everybody up before. Ball's got to be thrown literally in the play that you just did before on the corner route on DJ Pickett. It's essentially the same exact throw that they just made in 1-on-1s. One of them, you got a tutty. The other, you don't. And 1-on-1 periods, it's a touchdown. And 11-on-11, defense comes up and gets the play. Tit for tat. But it was overthrown. Did not write down the twos. Here's what did happen, though. In our practice report on our message board, we didn't write this down. This is what happened. Bad snap by DJ Chester. 74 comes in. They have a Caleb Jackson inside zone run for 1. TJ Lindsey with a run along the right side does push the pile a little bit, does TJ Lindsey or Lindsey, and gets 3. Then they blow the period dead. So not a long 11-on-11 period, but they get some shots at one another. Defense, in my opinion, gets there. Very clunky for the second unit. Again, just not good. All right, 7-on-7, ones versus ones. Trey'Dez Green on an out route covered by Wes Weeks. That is broken up. Because Wes Weeks has been there. I mean, I do think that both Weeks brothers are going to start. They got both of them starting right now. There has not been, outside of one day in a team period, there really hasn't been any days where the Weeks brothers have not been the first team and the linebackers inside. There have been some special situations that Wes Weeks has come out. Jaden Breaker, the true freshman linebacker, has come in, and Weeks has moved out to an exterior, meaning kind of hovering around an exterior behind an edge, doing some crazy little stuff. The Weeks brothers have been there. First play from 7-on-7 was an out route, more of a cornerish route, but an out route by Trey'Dez Green that gets broken up by Wes Weeks. Xavion Thomas in route for 3 yards. Keys comes in on the tackle. It looked as if Weeks' shoe came off. He was back in on the next play. Check down Caden Durham. He is not touched for 15 yards. I don't know what happened there. I couldn't tell, but it was done. Tyrone Francis hitch route for out route for 6 yards, tackled by DJ Pickett. That would be it for the first team on 7-on-7. Garrett did not go very much. As soon as 7-on-7 was over, they had a break period. They just didn't go a lot. The twos did. Guys, I'm not going to write down some of these second team unit stuff right now because it has been that bad offensively. The last 3 days that we've been out there in 7-on-7, Van Buren and Colin Hurley have just been hitting checkdowns. They've just been hitting checkdowns. I mean, Van Buren at least will try to rifle one down the field, but guys, it's not good right now. They just are. This second unit defensively is guys, they're just they're beating the second team. I have Van Buren, an incompletion, batted down by Deshaun Spears on an in route. I have Phillip Wright on a fade route overthrown by Michael Van Buren. I have Colin Hurley on an out route to Francis, wide left, incomplete. I mean, it's just not great right now. The second team unit is going to have to get together and say, hey, guys, we need to stay out a little bit longer, and we got to do some stuff. The second team of wide receivers and quarterbacks have got to start getting together legitimately. It's not pretty right now. So the first team did not go for long, which gave us a chance to go over and watch one-on-ones because the offensive line and defensive line didn't really take a break in the period because they went after it. So let's go one from one. From left tackle to right tackle, ones versus ones, and back-to-back reps. There was a period after this where all five guys rushed at the same time, and defense had to get home. We'll get to there in a minute. But Tyree Adam loses to Pyburn in the first overall rep and then beats Pyburn. Pyburn tries to bull rush him. 71's having none of it. Tit for tat. Good move. Outside rip in the bend by Pyburn was really good. And getting to the quarterback. And then he tries to bull rush Tyree Adams, and he was having absolutely none of it. Two really good ones. Ahmad Bro beats Chester twice. One on a bull rush that just gets Chester into the backfield, and then a little dip and rip on the outside, or dip and mover. I mean, I call it a rip, but a dip and rip to the outside gets a sack. Jeez, not good. Moore McKinley split. First play, Braylon Moore anchors down on Don McKinley. He tries to bull rush him back to the quarterback. Braylon Moore gets under his pads and lifts him up and was like, not today, Junior. Second play, that didn't matter. He got a hold of Braylon Moore. That strength came out on that one. They won, one lost. I mean, it was tit for tat. Really good stuff there, guys, to be honest with you. Bernard Gooden beats Josh Thompson twice on an inside swim move and an outside swim move. Guys, he's so electric off the football. I don't know if Bernard Gooden is – I have no clue what he's going to be. None. Zero. No clue what Bernard Gooden's going to give you. I'm starting to get to a place where Brian Kelly is going to have to be asked to, I don't want to say an unrealistic question, but at some point, Brian Kelly is going to have, if this continues with 88, he's going to have a crazy question coming his way. I know it sounds goofy, but what does he see? Right? Like, what is he seeing? Because there's only so many times that 88 can make these plays and continue to dominate before it's just like, hey, man, here he is. You got to run him out there based off of what we've seen. He's dominating, guys. Now, the other part of this, a lot of this camp, he has been tagged up with 56. And he's been running with 56. Josh Thompson, the right tackle transfer from Northwestern, who, by the way, was an all Big Ten selection. I mean, guys, he beat him twice. He just flipped it and reversed it like the cha-cha slide. I mean, slide to the left, swim to the right, crisscross. I mean, I don't know what to make of it. I really don't. I have two schools of thought on Bernard Gooden, what we'll get to in a minute. But it's just like, look, man, I mean, do you buy into camp hype at all? If you do, kid might be a first, second team all SEC guy. If you don't, then, and let's just see what happens. Oh, it's the offensive line. They need to gel, as a lot of you were telling me. I mean, I don't know. But in one-on-ones, Bernard Gooden continues to make plays. Guys, 3 days ago, go listen to the practice report from 3 days ago. which why would we do that? But go listen to it from 3 days ago. Literally, it's Bernard Gooden getting in the first day of pads. It's Bernard Gooden getting into the face of the offensive lineman saying that they're an explicit and that they're holding him and they still can't beat him. Hey, man, y'all, this the SEC? That's what he said. Oh, this is the SEC? I don't know. Keeps making plays, though. We're going to have this discussion even more. Patrick Payton gives Weston Davis the business twice. He hit him with a rip on the first one, hit him with a spin on the second one, inside spin on the second one. It was over. Yeah, it was over. So, yeah. All right, to end out with the first unit, they go 5 versus 5. So the same 5 that we just talked about, left to right offensively, left to right defensively, they would go after it. And they go after it. And 3 reps do the first team units do this. Defense won all 3 reps. Both interior guys got deep push into the backfield. Don McKinley, Bernard Gooden. And, I mean, Patrick Payton was there. Patrick Payton was there. I do think there's a little bit of a philosophy of what they're trying to do. I do think that there's been a philosophy of that they feel like, meaning LSU, that they got some freakishly strong interior defensive linemen, and all they want to do is push the offensive lineman back and get him into the quarterback's lap and let Patrick Payton or one of these elite edge guys make a quick move and get to the quarterback. Because it's exactly what happened. The pocket was collapsed very quickly. Guys, they have a real live quarterback back there making drops. 3, 5, 7-step drops. I mean, it just wasn't good. Patrick Payton won that individual drill in 1v1s with O-linemen. Guys, I mean, he was always there. In all 5 reps that he took, he was there every time. If he wasn't there, it was highly debatable. So, Patrick Payton, the Florida State transfer, making a really good deal out of it. All right. So that was 7-on-7 with the ones and O-line, D-line, pass pro. Let's get to the meat of this. Now, we're an hour and 2 minutes already into this, and we still got full team and observations and opinions to get to. So, all right, 11-on-11, team period, mini scrimmage, whatever you want to call it. I saw some. What happened in the mini scrimmage today? It's a team period. They're just going ones-on-ones, 11 versus 11, whatever you want to call it. But 11-on-11, full-on tackle football. Here we go. Either a quarterback draw or a great read by Garrett Nussmeier to see a wide-ass open hole in front of him and go and get 8 yards. I don't know what the play call was. Regardless, what it looked like from my vantage point was that Garrett Nussmeier was in the pocket. They were running a pass. He saw a massive hole in front of him, and defensive linemen kind of get washed out to the right. You have a defensive end to your left, step up in the pocket, and ran. I wrote 8 because they gave him 2nd and 2. I thought Garrett got more than that. I thought he got like 12 or 13 yards. There's nobody around him. Nobody. In that, great play by Garrett. I think the one thing, there's a couple of things that we've been talking about with Garrett all offseason. Number 1, step up in the pocket and be big. You're going to take hits in the pocket that are very uncomfortable. But for a pocket passer guy, Brady, Manning, Breeze, name it, how many times did you see them step up in that pocket? I'm not saying that Nuss is unathletic and can't run. I mean, I'm not saying Drew Brees couldn't run, because Brees was a little athletic his damn self. But a guy that's just not wanting to use his legs, sees a wide open hole, he runs right through it to get what I would have considered a first down. They give it at 2nd and 2. It is what it is. Great read, great run by Garrett, great decision. We wanted to see him step up in the pocket. We wanted to see him use his legs, what he just did here. And then thirdly, make better decisions. Other than Harold Perkins making a freakish play yesterday, Garrett has been moderately clean with the turnovers. In being moderately clean, there's been a couple of things in that. Number one, he's been under immense pressure, so it's kind of made him be a little bit cleaner because he's got to make one decision really quickly and throw it, which is somewhat kind of good. It's been kind of the better Garrett in a way. But it also comes a point in time where he's just having to make really quick decisions because his O-line's not holding up. Either it's a quarterback draw, I don't know the play call, or Garrett makes the right read. I'm going with, because I got a couple of out routes on the outside, maybe they're just trying to get the DBs out of this so that Garrett has a lane on a quarterback draw. Regardless of all of it, he picks up a gain of 12 or 8. But they do give him 2nd and 2. Durham inside run for 5. So back-to-back plays where you're getting some push. You're getting some run. After Durham on a just basic dive to the right out of the pistol, Frank Wilson's fired up because you're getting push. Guys, if you run the ball for 5 yards every play, you're going to be tough to beat. And that's going to give Garrett enough time, and it's going to give Garrett enough of a running game where not everything's on his shoulders. In reference to the offensive line, I will say this. I do think that there are some signs of life, but they got to have the consistency every single down and every single play. You get a nice run by Garrett, whether it's a draw or he scrambles, doesn't matter. You pick up a first down. Very next play, you line up out of the pistol and you go a basic dive and you're getting 5 from Caden Durham. Guys are going to the ground. Harold Perkins again on the stop with Weeks. You get to a point where I'm gonna take that 2nd and 5. Even if you run the ball a second time, it's 3rd and 5, and Garrett's got to make a quick decision and throw the football and pick up 5 yards. Guys, last year he was in a lot of 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10 situations because you just simply couldn't run the football. But 2 really good run plays there. 3rd and 2. For whatever reason of why they gave him 3rd and 2. But that was where the marker stood. Bernard Gooden literally hits Caden Durham in the backfield as he is receiving the handoff, tackles him in the backfield, and you got a minus of 3. Just beat a double team, man. Beat a double team in between Chester and Moore. Looked like Moore left a little too early. Didn't get a good punch on Bernard Gooden, but does a swim move, breaks the double team, and literally gets Caden Durham in the backfield. Guys, another day in team period where 88 is reading the snap and getting off the ball. They have tried, to Joe Sloan's credit, they have tried to draw them off sides a lot. And 88 ain't moving. I think he's just watching the ball and having massive burst and getting off the line. But he does get to Caden Durham from the backside, and he gets a tackle for loss. Trey Green on an in route. So they reshuffle the 6 first down. Trey Green on an in route from the slot is blown up by Jordan Gilbert. Perfectly thrown ball by Garrett. Stepped up in the pocket again. Delivered a strike to Trey Green. Hits him right in the chest. And as soon as it hits him in the chest, Jordan Gilbert, coming down from the safety spot, blows up Trey Green. Ball pops loose, incompletion. Competition breeds intensity. As Brian Kelly said yesterday, it breeds intensity. So, great play by Jordan Gilbert. Great play. I mean, I thought it was great processing by Garrett. You made the right throw. You had to step up in the pocket because of pressure. Trey Green's there. You're going to get hit. Got to hold on to it. It hit you in the chest. I know it's a big hit. I get Trey Green got popped, but I mean, Jordan Gilbert, I mean, he laid lumber there. So good for number 2. Very next play, Pyburn on a spin move, inside spin move on Weston Davis for a sack. The reason we knew it was a sack is because Garrett fell down. He spun right into Garrett. Garrett takes the snap. Pyburn's coming down. He gets a quick inside spin move, and he's kind of doing like this to Garrett. Kind of hits Garrett, and both of them trip and fall down. Sacked by Jack Pyburn. I mean, look, Jack Pyburn's name has not been brought up a lot in these practice reports. I mean, they've just been rotating the edge guys so much. Today, Jack Pyburn making some plays. He'll make one literally on the next play or next play after this too. So Jack Pyburn getting a sack there. Outside zone run left. Jack Pyburn is unblocked from the backside. He runs down Kane Durham for a tackle of loss. I mean, Jack Pyburn just showing up. The Florida transfer having a really good day, and in back-to-back plays gets to Garrett for a sack, and then on the next play, an outside zone run to Kane Durham. He comes from the backside and tackles him in the backfield. There's a couple of things here. Jack Pyburn is the beneficiary of getting the tackle for loss. Patrick Payton should be rewarded for the tackle or an assist. Patrick Payton is going up against, Patrick Payton going up against Weston Davis, Tyree Adams. He pushes Kane Durham out to the sidelines, and he can't go anywhere, keeps contained. Jack Pyburn comes and cleans it up. So really good overall play by both edge guys. Really, really good plays by the both of them. Very next play, check down. Everybody's covered. They looks like they run a deep concept, does the offense. Check down to Kane Durham for about 3. He fell down. 3rd and 8. Kyle Parker in the slot. Post route goes for 18. Jordan Gilbert on the tackle along with Deshaun Spears. Don't like that Garrett's in 3rd and longs. He is in a 3rd and long, but you have a sack on Garrett. The play before, you have an incompletion. Pyburn gets the tackle for loss. Then you have a check down, and then you have a post for 18. So you have the defense really dominating the last 4 plays. Really, really dominating the last 4 plays. Kyle Parker comes in at slot and runs a post for 18. Guys, right now, a lot can change. Everything can change. As of today, as we take these practice reports in one practice sample sizes, if you had to ask me about the 4 receivers that will get the most action so far, it'll be Nick Anderson, it'll be Chris Hilton, Aaron Anderson, who's out, and Kyle Parker. Kyle Parker's in that 4 rotation, not Barryon Brown right now. That's back-to-back days. They trying to keep number 6 up. I don't know, but 100%, he's in there. So Kyle Parker on the post route, inside post route, or whatever you want to call it, goes for 18. So really good throw by Nuss. Had time. Stood up in the pocket, 3rd and long. Didn't get the rush off. D-line couldn't get there. A great throw by Garrett for 18 yards. And Parker goes down. Last play for the offense is a run by Kane Durham that goes for no gain. A slant that is missed by Destin Hill, and then a run by Kane Durham. 1st and 10 is what the marker said. It wasn't 1st and 10. Kane Durham went to the hizzy. He broke a tackle from Jordan Gilbert, an outside zone run where he was untouched. It was beautifully blocked. Josh Thompson got to the 2nd level, and the safety versus the running back, Jordan Gilbert goes low, tries to tackle Kane Durham. He hits him with a little stiff arm, and he's gone. Kane Durham with a 45-yard touchdown. So look, you got some good runs in there. You have the one for 12. Let's just call it 12 for Garrett. An inside zone run for 5. by Caden Durham. You got a pair of tackle for losses, by Pyburn and by Bernard Gooden. You have a sack by Jack Pyburn. So really 3-2, if you want to give it. I call a run of 5 a successful run play. Me, personally, I think that's a positive run. So you got 2 positive run plays. Then you have 3 plays where the defense just stood up and said enough was enough. Then you come back at the end after battling that out, and Caden Durham breaks a tackle in a really good run play where he busts loose and gets a score. So that is your 1v1s today in full pads. So I somewhat give it to the defense, but I don't think it was as bad as maybe led on to believe as it was. Do I think the defensive line dominated the day again today? Yes, to some regards. I think they won the day. There were some really big plays that the offense did hit on. Long run by Caden Durham, a couple of really good runs, one by Garrett and one by Caden, and then you hit the long post route to Kyle Parker. The other ones in that are really, really good defensive plays. Sack, tackles for loss, check downs. Guys, the question that I would ask you here is this. Isn't that kind of what it's supposed to look like, though? Isn't that a little bit what it's supposed to look like? I mean, if you got a really solid defense and a really solid offense, I got some good runs in there, a deep post route, and I got a sack, I got tackles for loss. Isn't that what good competitors, when you have a solid team, isn't it what it's kind of supposed to look like? Maybe it's not. I will say this. If you're asking me, I would say that the defensive stuff kind of outweighed what the offense did, but I got a deep post and I got a massive explosive play by Caden Durham. So it is what it is. I still think the defensive line dominated in some areas, though. I really do. Second unit, pistol, Michael Van Buren to Caleb Jackson, pushes Powell. Just a gang of defenders, gets a push for about 6. Inside run, Xavion Thomas, Jacoby and Guillory blows the play up in the backfield. DJ Pickett comes down from his corner spot and cleans it up, and Xavion Thomas is tackled for no gain. An in route by Barryon Brown, which is a PBU by P.J. Woodland. Guys, P.J. Woodland's going to be your third corner in some situations. P.J. Woodland's been your third corner, and he has not given them a reason and been on Barryon Brown a lot of the camp. He hadn't given a lot of reason for to come out of the game. He has not relinquished anything to DJ Pickett yet. And PJ's had some really good plays. Really, really good plays. Inside zone run, TJ Lindsey on the run. Pushes the pile for 8. Was really violent, was Lindsey. Maybe he can give you some violent runs this year and just go put his head down and get yardage. I don't know. But push the pile for 8. Really, really good run. Barryon Brown, screen for nothing. Patrick Payton, Gabe Relaford. As Gabe Relaford was on the inside for that play, a tackle for no gain on a middle screen. Destin Hill on a hitch route for 10 yards. DJ Pickett there to make a tackle, and then runs a hitch route again. Is blown up, is Destin Hill by DJ Pickett. Ball is jarred incomplete, and that would be the end of your team period. So, all in all, I do believe that the day was won by the defense. Again, a lot more explosive plays for you offensively. That maybe it's not as bad as some maybe led on to believe, but if you're asking me, I would give the day to the defense yet again. All right. Any super chats in here? I see y'all are lively in the chat tonight, boy. Boy, you are lively in the chat tonight. I see y'all. Mr. LSU fan for life with a $5 super chat says, it's scary to think about how Blake Baker's defense is sharpening nuts. Yeah, I mean, they really are, man. They really are. They really, really, really are. Got to respect it, man. Got to respect it. It's been really good. Only question that I would have, I think Bryce Coon brought this up, which I thought was a good one today from On 3. Does it throw off any of Garrett's timing in the beginning of the season because he's under relentless pressure? Doesn't have a clean pocket. We'll see. All right. Let me get to a quick break. When we come back, observations and opinions. We will get to those next. Stay with us. What do we see from practice? Guys, let me tell you about our good friends over at Grand Slam Heating and Air, where your comfort is their top priority. At Grand Slam Heating and Air, they promise to provide customers with high-quality HVAC service at an affordable price while ensuring the homeowner peace of mind. From their office to your home, they guarantee the best hassle-free experience around. Efficiency and comfort is their game. Let them make your home Grand Slam today. At Grand Slam Heating and Air, they're offering their annual maintenance plan starting off at $18.75 a month and also doing those $99 tune-up promotion. They provide free estimates for system and ductwork replacement, as well as offering financing to get the job done with no money up front. From Baton Rouge to Hammond to Covington, they're all around. So what you need to do today, give them a call at 225-380-9065. That's 225-380-9065. Or go over to their website, getgrandslamair.com. That's getgrandslamair.com, where your comfort. Guys, I want to talk to you about our good friends over the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company. Are you facing tough times due to an injury from a car accident, navigating the complexities of divorce, or purchasing a new home? At the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company, they understand the challenges you're going through, and they are here to help. The lawyer team of Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, along with Morgan Daniels, have the experience and proven track record to give you that peace of mind. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. That's 985-386-7600 to schedule a free consultation at their brand new office located in historic downtown Ponchatoula. They're also doing a special, the AYS special. If you're refinancing or closing on a home in Southeast Louisiana, request the Drake Title Company to handle your closing. If you mention Blake Ruffino and AYS, you're going to receive a $400 discount on title fees. Again, give them a call at 985-386-7600. Let them know that Blake Ruffino sent you on by. Hey, Southwest Louisiana. Are you ready to gear up for your next outdoor adventure or tackle that next big job on the farm? Then head on over to Henderson Tractors, Boats, and Power Sports. At Henderson and Lake Charles, they've got everything you need under one massive 30,000 square foot indoor showroom. Kubota tractors and mowers to power through the toughest tasks. Polaris off-road bikes and side-by-sides to conquer any trail. And tracker boats with brands like Ranger, Nitro, Sun Tracker, and Regency pontoons for a day out on the water. Whether you're a farmer or a hunter or just someone who loves the great outdoors, Henderson has what you need to get the job done and have fun while doing it. Browse their new and used inventory over at their website, hendersonimplement.com. That's hendersonimplement.com. Or give them a call today at 337-436-4366. That's 337-436-4366. Or go see them over in Lake Charles on the corner of East McNee Street and Highway 14. Remember, if you need a tractor, go to Henderson. Need a boat, go to Henderson. Or if you need an ATV or side-by-side, you know where to go. Henderson. Just let them know that your good friend Blake Ruffino over at AYS sent you on by. We're back. All right. Alexander Taylor says this is night and day from 2013 practice reports. Yeah, I felt like in 2023 we were constantly coming in here saying Jaden Daniels would like the ball barely touched the ground, like shit was going stupid. I would suggest all of you go back to the 2023 season and listen to those practice reports, because in retrospect, we knew. In retrospect, we knew. We knew how good it was and was going to be. So, yeah. All right. Observations and opinions. A lot of you have been asking about the offensive line here tonight. Let's get into it. I want to start off here on some observations and opinions by saying, last year at this time, the LSU offense was just dominating defense, this defense in the run game. I think now what we know is that really, You just had 4 offensive linemen that did get drafted from a season ago, and your D-line just wasn't good. In the offseason, I would assume by their actions, Brian Kelly, Blake Baker, Austin Thomas, they also didn't believe that they were that good because they went and got a lot of defensive linemen to help out in this run game. Camp narratives can be scary because you get into the USC game and they completely out-physical you and you can't run the football. Hardly at all. Now, you don't have Caden Durham. Maybe that makes a massive difference, and I'm sure it does make a massive difference, but you still got out-physicaled up front. You 1,000% did. But even in that camp narrative, guys, we got to go based off of what we see, and it's your job, my job, everybody's job in these practice reports. You come away with what you believe is happening. My opinion is that a couple of things can be true at once. The couple of things that could be true are you need to be cautious on, like, hey, man, is this defensive line as good as we think that they are? Because if they are, then maybe some of these things can be understandable about, man, you're really deep and talented along your defensive line that, man, you got 4 guys that are there and are new starters, and let's figure it out. Now, what I would say there is you really only have 2 true new starters along your offensive line. What do I mean by that? Other than Tyree Adams and Weston Davis, Braylon Moore started in 20-plus games. Josh Thompson started in more than 20-plus games. And DJ Chester started in 13 games a season ago. Between the 3 of them, you have 50-plus starts. The Big Ten is not a league that are pushovers along their defensive line. They've won the last 2 national titles because they've had 2 teams in Michigan and Ohio State that literally had 7 guys get drafted in the NFL based off the last 2 national title winners. You had 4 from Michigan. You had 3 from Ohio State. And for whatever it's worth, Josh Thompson was an all-Big Ten selection at right tackle. He's moved over to guard. That's 50-plus starts combined between the 3 of them. I think it's a little bit different in the portal age when I say, hey, man, we added a guy with 20-plus starts. I mean, should he be this far behind? If this were a sophomore, maybe even a junior, and it's his real first time starting, then I'd be like, okay, I mean, that makes sense. Maybe you can make an excuse for DJ Chester, who played at center and started at center all 13 games last year, and say, well, guard's just a new position. We got to figure that out. You can make that determination. But I don't know if your defensive line is better than some of the teams that you're going to face off against. What is Dylan Stewart, the edge rusher at South Carolina? What is Caleb Banks? Caleb Banks, pretty much all mock drafts, he's the number 1 defensive tackle in all of college football. Tariq Sapp, the edge for Florida. He's also projected to go in the first round. Some have him in the top 15. Oh, and then you get to Clemson with TJ Parker, and then Peter Woods and Sammy Brown and Will Helt, all guys that are projected to go in the top 50 in this upcoming NFL draft. Are you a part of that? Is your defensive line a part of that? Because if it is a part of that, you look at what other teams have in the preseason, you project of, because there might be some units that have just as much talent up front as you do and things that you've seen. So make your own determination along the offensive line. If you're going to ask me, I think they're getting beat. I think in some instances, they're just getting flat out beat. Again, I will say this. For me, I don't want to hear about gelling when you have 2 guys who have that many starts combined between the both of them, that you have a guy in Bernard Gooden, per his listed height and weight, at 6'2", 260 in the interior as a defensive tackle, breaking a double team and tackling a guy in the backfield for a tackle for loss while he's getting the handoff. And not just in one day, in all days that they've had pads on, Bernard Gooden has done this. It's not like it's been one day. It's not like it's only been a day and maybe a rep. It's been multiple days where it's constantly happening, whether it be in the first 11-on-11 period where he got one or the last team period where he got one. Make of it what you will. But Jelling, for me, as a guy that played the position, okay, in my opinion, I think Jelling comes more when you're talking about pass pro, because there's not a lot of gelling about a defensive tackle busting off the line of scrimmage that quickly to get into the backfield. That is guys getting beat on their first step. That is a physical problem, not a mental one. So, through 6 days, this D-line, who, by the way, is coming together their own selves, Bernard Gooden wasn't even in here for – I don't think he was in here for the spring. I don't remember. No, he wasn't in here for the spring. He's coming here in the first 6 days and dominated. Got so much to the point that you got to ask the question, hey, you got to throw him out there. You be selective in how you do it, but you got to throw 88 out there. I mean, if he's going to do that against you, you got to give it a shot. Don McKinley's been a big part of that. I mean, Jack Pipern today was a big part of that. I mean, you just see this defensive line doing what they do. And guys, other than some big plays, there have been some situations where that this defense are making bigger ones. And this D-line is making bigger ones. It's not like Wick Weeks is making a tackle at the line of scrimmage, whatever it may be. These are coming from your defensive linemen, getting and pursuing and getting tackles for loss. I don't know if Bernard Gooden, and we're going to talk about this in a moment, I don't know if Bernard Gooden is going to be a part of that in the season. He very well may do that all season long, and he becomes a Louisiana legend overnight. Very likely could happen. I don't know. I don't know what's in our future. I hope he's doing that to other offensive lines throughout the year. I hope it's not just ours, and I hope it continues. But the gun shyness of last year and you dominating all fall camp, the run game dominating all fall camp, and then you being in a situation where, oh, well, Blake, this defensive line's dominating. It's the exact opposite of last year. We get into the season, and it completely turns on its head. The bottom line is, if you're asking a winner, there isn't an opinion. So even in observations and opinions, through a week, your D-line's won. And they've done some impressive things. I have seen the offensive line get better every single day. They've done some things where they've gotten better every single day. In the team period today, you had too many explosive plays, the Garrett run, the run, and not even explosive play, but maybe for this offensive line, it is to some extent in the run game. You getting a run for 5 yards, Caden Durham bursting one out and going for a score. Guys, they're live tackling. They're running them down. Like this is full blown. This isn't like let up when he gets to the hole. They're going to the ground. Caden Durham makes a good read, gets a stiff arm, and he's off to the races. Sounds good. They housed one. I don't think in the run game it was as bad as maybe some made it to believe. I also think that when you're getting into a situation where consistency, as Brian Kelly said in the press conference today, is not what this offensive line has had. One step forward, massive step back. One step forward, one massive step back. One step forward, one massive step back. That's literally how today's practice and other practices have been coming out and happening. Can they continue to build? Now, they got a full 2-hour practice tomorrow that we're not allowed to go to. They have a recovery day on Thursday, and they're back at it on Friday and Saturday. Can this offensive line get more and be more consistent? I think it's why Brian Kelly in his press conference today talked about, you guys in the media are going to be mad about what you saw today. He was making a lighthearted joke, but he kind of ain't. He's kind of not. It's a battle. I do not know who's winning it ultimately throughout the season. I do know who's winning it right now. Who's winning it right now is by far this defensive line. All right. A couple other opinions and observations here. Last thing on the offensive line, I missed this. I'm going to keep saying it. I want Karius Kern at guard. Screw it. Stop. If you made a wrong move with Thompson, moving Chester to left guard, whatever the wrong move is to help you get push, make the move. Make the move. Let's see what it looks like. Get Karius Kern at guard and see what happens. Even though we talked about the guard play and some of this offensive line play, guys, I think that we got to give it up to this defensive line. Pyburn was a guy that stood up big today. Patrick Payton was someone who stepped up big today. Bernard Gooden again. Jacoby and Guillory with a second unit got in the backfield and made a play. DJ Pickett cleaned it up. You just got to tip your cap. If this defensive line is who we think that they can be, then guys, you have a lot of optimism going into the season. Maybe you are that. I hope you're that. I hope that I hope that you were that. Now, there is 1,300 of you in here right now, and I want all of you to hear me say this. I hope that they're that. I don't know if they're going to be. I don't know what any of this means in the sense of, listen, you're going up against yourself. Fall camp narratives are fall camp narratives, but right now we can only go based off of what we're seeing. And what we're seeing is, and listen, there's twofold to this for what it's worth. A lot of us came out here in 2023 and said, this offense might be unstoppable. To some regards, they were with Jaden Daniels, the Heisman Trophy winner, Malik Neighbors, and Brian Thomas Jr. You come back in the next camp and you're like, man, they run the football all over the place, and they can't run the football to save their life. One camp thing hits, the other one doesn't. But you got to give credit to them for what they're doing right now. So we'll see. A couple more here. I think Garrett is showing a lot of maturity. You expect this from a second-year starting quarterback. I just think that a lot of the things that we saw at the end of the year last year that was good has started to come to light. But just maturity. Stepping up in the pocket. Stepping up in the pocket, taking off and running when he needs to. Not a lot of turnovers right now that we've seen from number 13. And, guys, at this point last year, there were a lot of turnovers. A lot of turnovers. You just hadn't seen that much. I think the maturity, when it continues, he gets more of these live reps and he gets his timing down, will continue. But I think Garrett's looked really good. Hasn't had a lot of time. And I do worry that it throws off his timing, as Bryce Coon said. We'll see. There are some wide receivers that are starting to separate from me. If you had to ask me the four of where it stood today, it could change tomorrow. Aaron Anderson, Chris Hilton, Kyle Parker, Nick Anderson. Guys, those are the four that are making the most consistent plays. The reason I haven't thrown Xavier Thomas in there is because I don't think Xavier Thomas plays when Aaron Anderson returns, which per Brian Kelly could be as early as Friday. When he returns, I expect it to be those four. Kyle Parker has impressed Brian Kelly, and he's been out there. There have been some guys like Destin Hill and Barrion Brown that were screamed at by Brian Kelly today for not knowing the plays, and he took them out. If Barrion, who's a transfer, if Destin, who's a transfer, doesn't know what's going on, they better pick it up because these other guys are not letting up. Nick Anderson knew. Nick Anderson knows. No excuse. There's zero excuse for not knowing what to do. Zero. Both of them got the playbook in the spring. They should know exactly what they need to do. Because Chris Hilton has separated himself for me as the number 2. How many times are we going to say Chris Hilton touchdown and Chris Hilton making a big play before we just say, all right, well, Chris Hilton's come to play. Again, understand health. You got 3 weeks. Put him in bubble wrap. Let him have some selective plays. Keep him healthy. So we'll see. I think the two other Porter receivers and Destin Hill the last couple of days, and Barry and Brown, they've had some tough camps here to start. We'll see. Woodland and Jaden Breaker. There's two guys defensively that I think stand out a little bit to me outside of the starters. Jaden Breaker has kind of gotten in that third overall unit along with Devon Keys. We'll see. We'll see. Those are the things that stand out to me. All right. Any super chats? None. Mr. LSU fan for life. Season opener, coin toss gets tossed, and we win the toss. Or do you kick or defer? I'm deferring. I'm deferring. Let's just, even for perception's sake, let's just change it up. Yeah, let's just change it up. Boy, y'all are getting after it today in this chat, boy. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. All right. We'll see y'all tomorrow, man. Y'all have a blessed night. Practice report. We'll be live tomorrow, off Thursday, back at it on Friday and Saturday. We'll see y'all soon. Hope you loved it and enjoyed it as much as I did. Y'all have a good one. Peace.